Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala falah. Hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. صدق الله. The verses of the Holy Quran that I recited to you, the first word from chapter 2, verses 44 and 45. And their English translation is, do you enjoin men to be good and neglect your own souls while you read the book? Have you then no sense? And seek assistance through patience and through prayer. And this is hard except for the humble ones. And the other verse, chapter 2, verse 153, O you who believe, seek assistance through patience and through prayer. Surely Allah is with the patient. These are difficult and trying times, particularly for our Jamaat in various places. And sometimes people become disappointed and disheartened and depressed, and they start to question their faith. But if we go back in history and look at the story of Moses and Ibrahim and Yusuf and Ayub and Jesus and Holy Prophet Muhammad, we find that all these chosen ones of Allah went through trials and tribulations. It didn't happen that one day they received a revelation from God saying, "You are my prophet. I appointed you a guide for whoever it is." And the next day they went out and they opened the door and there were people outside loading them and clapping them and embracing them, saying, "God has sent us a savior." Did this happen to Moses? In Egypt, he lived in a palace. He was a prince. He'd been adopted by the Pharaoh's wife. And in fighting for the rights of the Israelites, he lost his position. And what did his own people do? When he got them to the promised land and it had been occupied by other people, what did they say? They said, "Well, you promised us this land full of all these good things. You said nothing about having to strive for it or fight for it. Tell you what, we'll sit here while you and your God go and fight the occupiers and free the land, and when we don't have to do anything, we'll come back and we'll rule that land and live in luxury and comfort." It's very interesting. This is what the Maulvis these days. We don't have to do anything. Don't work. Don't strive for predominance of Islam. Just wait for the Messiah to come down. He will have a Mahdi with him who will strike to the right and all the non-believers will be killed, and he'll strike to the left and all the non-believers will be killed. And then you know what he'll do? He'll give the rule of the whole planet over to the Maulvis. Say, "You are Maulana. You wanted to kill people, I've done it for you. Now you do it. Persecute whoever you want." This has been a tradition of humanity from the beginning. Didn't Hazrat Ibrahim have to go through trial? What about Hazrat Yusuf? His own family became so jealous, his own brothers, that he was sold off. Job or Hazrat Ayub, he fell on hard times. He lost everything. His money, his power, his position, whatever he had. Jesus, closer to our time, he predicted. On the Last Supper, he said, he turned to Peter, the man to whom he had given the keys to the kingdom of heaven. He turned to him and said, "Before the cock crows, you will curse me 3 times. You will denounce me 3 times. You will deny me 3 times." And when Jesus was arrested, the Jews asked Romans, but what about his supporters? What about the people with him? And Romans said, okay, we'll arrest them as well. And every single one of the disciples of Jesus denied him. They went to Peter. Twice they went to Peter, and twice he denied having anything to do with Jesus. And then he remembered what Jesus had predicted, and he cried. Why did Judas betray Jesus? Some people say it was for 30 pieces of silver. And that has become a proverb for betrayal. But others say that he expected the Messiah to ride into Jerusalem, conquer it, kill all the Romans who were non-believers, grab the government of Palestine, the promised land, hand it over to the rabbis, and then do what? Die. Can you see the similarities between all these? And those who strove and struggled for the truth went through many trials and torture. The Holy Prophet Muhammad saved his life. At one stage, he had to go up a mountain. All contact was denied. Look at the similarity between the story of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions and the Lahore Ahmadiyya community. What did the Quraysh do? They had an agreement, no contact with Muhammad or those who. What has been done against us in Sakra? Exactly the same. What did they say? Don't let anyone give food to them. And what is happening to our members in Sakra? Exactly the same thing. They're being denied jobs, they're being denied businesses, they're being denied livelihood. Exactly the same thing that happened to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So be proud that you are the only Jamaat, the only organization that is following the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, that no one else is following. But God says, seek assistance through patience and through prayer. As did all these prophets of Allah. And what is prayer? Prayer means includes. Hazrat Masih Maud said, the promised Messiah said, a part of prayer is action on your part to do something. If someone cooks a meal for you, puts it in front of you, and you don't pick it up and put it in your mouth, and you sit there and you keep praying, is that food miraculously going to leap up and get into your mouth? No, it's not. The often told story of the man who was drowning. He said, I have faith in Allah. I will pray to Him and He will save me. And while he was praying, a boat came. And people in the boat said, get into the boat, climb into the boat, or you will die. And he said, no, Allah will save. And the boat went and he kept on praying. And the same thing was repeated. No, Allah will save me. And then a third boat came, and he still didn't get in, and drowned and died. And when he was presented to Allah, he complained. He said, I had so much faith in you, in your power, that I thought you were going to save me. And I prayed to you and I prayed to you and you did nothing. Now what did Allah say? Allah said, stupid man, who do you think sent these boats? What did you want me to do? Give up running the whole of the universe and come down and pick you up in my lap and give you a kiss and put you by the shore of the river? It doesn't happen that way. Pray, but you also put effort in. Hazrat himself said that you are going to be persecuted and tried and tortured, and everyone who abuses you or humiliates you will feel very proud and think he is serving Islam. This morning on Facebook, I saw about 20 messages abusing me and other side and not getting it. I just blocked the people and deleted and so on. Although I have to say the temptation to reply in kind is very strong. But all these people, I think, look at this prophecy and prediction that everyone who humiliates you, who abuses you, who tortures you, he will think that he is doing some noble deed for the cause of Islam. And Hazrat Sahib said one thing more. To join my Jamaat, to be in my Jamaat, is like walking barefoot on thorns. But if your feet are delicate and soft, then leave the Jamaat now, because you won't be able to bear that torture and those trials and those tribulations. You might as well leave now. The world is coming to Islam. You know, these trials, Hazrat Sahib gave another example. He said, you dig up iron ore. Do you think you can build a bridge with that? Do you think you can build anything with that? He said, you purify it. And then you put it through fire. And once it's burnt and all the impurities have come out of it, then it becomes steel and nothing can break. The trials and the torture and the tribulations that we are going through, they are akin to the iron ore being burned, to burn off all the impurities. And the people who remain behind will be like that steel, like nothing. God has said in the Holy Quran, your example should be that together with each other, you're like soft butter. But when you oppose others, you are as if you're made of steel, and nothing can break. That is something worth remembering, that example that the Holy Quran itself gives. Remember this, the world has to come to Islam, it is coming to Islam. But what Islam? The Islam of Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat that says attack somewhere capture their girls and sell them into slavery? Is that the Islam that's going to predominate? What did ISIS do? They were going to establish an Islamic Khilafat in Syria and Iraq. What did they do? They attacked areas where non-Muslims lived, and they captured them, and they took away their girls. And like you have Sunday markets in the UK and you have Juma Bazaar in Pakistan, these girls were sold into slavery in those markets. Is that the Islam that is going to predominate? People say, oh, don't mention it. Why not? Come on, justify. Even Maulana Maududi has mentioned this in his commentary of the Holy Quran, that it's lawful. Why should I not mention it? It's your Islam. It's not my Islam. Islam that will prevail is the one that is presented to the world by Ahmadi Anjuman Ishaq Islam. And we have seen this with our own eyes. This coronavirus has spread. What was the first thing? What was the first thing that Western governments did? Without saying so, they turned to the Holy Quran. Astonished you are. And you know how they turned to the Holy Quran? There is a specific verse in the Holy Quran that says, if someone is lent money and they fall on hard times, and when it's time to return what you have lent them or pay an installment, they're having difficulties, give them relief. Give them time. Don't be hard with them. In fact, Islam actually says if you can, write off the loan. What did the British government? The first announcement was there is a 3-month moratorium on all loan installments paid. Something that the Quran recommended 1500 years ago. 1500 years ago. What's the other thing Islam recommended 1500 years ago? Every year, give a part of your spare wealth to the government so that it may be distributed amongst the poor for their food and so. In Ramadan, you're supposed to feed the poor. And what have we seen happening around? The world is coming to Islam, but it's coming to Islam as preached by the Lahore Ahmadiyya movement, and not by any other group or sect or organization in Islam. I just gave you one example. I could give you 50, but then the khutbah will last until tomorrow. There's people sitting here who are already 40. If it lasts until tomorrow, you'll probably hear them snoring as well. This is how interesting my sermons and speeches are. People are turning to our Jamaat. We've had new members in Ireland. And I'm not talking about Pakistanis joining the Jamaat to get stay on the basis of political Islam. I'm talking about local people in France, in Italy, in Turkey, in Ivory Coast, in Guinea, in the US. And amazingly, I discovered yesterday that someone in Uruguay had joined our Jamaat through his own efforts. You and I played no part in his coming to this Jamaat. He researched Islam and various websites and various translations and so on, and ours appealed to him, and he knew. It's not that I brainwashed him into it. So our prayer should be, God, make us steadfast at this time of trial, but also take some practical steps to strengthen the Jamaat, to establish branches in different countries. In Ivory Coast, after, let's say, 2 years of work, around 20 people joined the Jamaat. Next door in Guinea, 67 people took the ban. All the ones that I'm talking about are the ones who've taken the oath of allegiance to join the Jamaat and serve it under the leadership of Muslims. There's no point in crying, sitting there, so and so calls me up and let it. Why do you want him to call you a Muslim? Is that going to give you some kind of a medal? The Prime Minister of this country has said, people keep on telling me that King Faisal went to Woking Mosque and Mr. Jinnah said Ahmadis are Muslims and then the Rahman went to Woking Mosque. So what? When we needed help and support and protection, where were all these people? Did anyone say, here is £1 million to help you? Did anyone protest? Why are you burning these people's homes and businesses and killing them? No. So what? They went to Woking and they prayed there. What practical help is that to the Jamaat, apart from being able to print their photographs? Say, look, he used to work. Very good. Now, how does that help a person whose parents have spent thousands, hundreds of thousands in getting him through college and university and so on, and he can't get a job because he's a Lahorian? So, pray. Take practical steps to strengthen your own Jamaat. Just because Saudi is an opportunity to start running around saying, no, Saudis are saying Eid is okay, we must join the Saudis. Why? Have they received God's revelation that Eid is on that day? I don't care what Saudis do. I don't care what anyone else does. I care about what the Quran and the Sunnah says and what I think to be the right thing. As long as we keep running to curry favors with others, we'll keep on having problems. Do this and you'll get our favors. Don't do this and you'll get our favors. Don't mention the name of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. Oh, and I'll contribute towards propagation of Islam. Curry favor with God. Don't curry favor with people. People will always desert you. Someone actually said, and I'll end with that. I think it was Hazrat Masih Maud who said, if you depend on people, they will invariably disappoint you. If you depend on people, they will invariably disappoint you. If you depend on God, He will never let you down. So let's depend on God and not human beings. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم تعالى ملك البر. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا واشهد ان لا اله الا الله واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ال ابراهيم. اللهم بارك وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل. اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. عباد الله والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم والله يعلم ما تصنعون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح إقامة الصلاة إقامة الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانهر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. اللهم آمين. Thank you very much for joining our Friday service. Our next broadcast will be at 7 p.m., which is the first 15 minutes Urdu, reflection on the Quran, and 15 minutes English. And then we will be broadcasting Quranic prayer. Assalamu alaikum. Khuda Hafiz.